I was born in Powell County of Kentucky, and the only place, our county seat was Stanton, but I lived nowhere near it, and about as far away from it as we could get in a place called the Red River Gorge. And I was raised there until the age of 19 when I left to go into radio. My mother gave birth to 14 children, and 4 died in infancy. Then she raised an orphan cousin, and that made 11 of us that she raised to adulthood. My father was a wonderful musician with his fiddle and 5-string banjo. And before my daddy was my granddaddy Ledford, who was a left-handed fiddler. And back of him, I don't know what went on.
She says, I never tell a story the same way twice, but I always tell the truth. And that's exactly what she did. She'd tell me, she had favorite stories, and she'd tell them to me over and over again. But every time there'd be a new little detail. An early Christmas that was very special to her. Her father took the horse and taken charcoal and covered the star on its forehead with that, blacked that out so they wouldn't recognize the horse, and gotten cowbells and put it in the mane of the horse, and cedar and holly and all kinds of things to decorate the sled that they had and the harness. And so he came in the snow and whistling, and he was a wonderful musician too, just a natural born musician. And he sang and danced around the Christmas tree and had them all come up and get their presents. They never had another Christmas like that. Not too many years after that period, there was a terrible flood down here, and it flooded them out. It must have been a flash flood of some sort, and it drowned all their livestock and destroyed a lot of their house. And after that, they just didn't even, they hardly had enough food to eat.
Of course, they had it rough all through her life. Her daddy wasn't the workingest fella was, but now that's where she got her talent. But anybody can learn to play if they just work at it enough. I know I got a hold for fiddle there one time, and I sit down. First night I got that thing, I'd worked hard that day in the cornfield. Come in, and of course in summertime, that time of year, long May and June, them days are long. But I got in about dark. But I sat down and worked on that fiddle till about midnight. But I remember I got so I could play a sweet bunch of daisies. And I laid that gentleman down, and that's about as far as I ever went. I didn't do much more after that.
Everybody just had to sort of get together to have their entertainment. They had, they'd help each other work. If somebody's building a barn, well, they all pitched in and helped. Or if it's, the women had a quilt and wanted to be quilted, they'd have a quilting. They'd all meet at the homes and have quilting, and maybe they'd have something for the men to be doing too outside, and then the women would quilt the quilt and have a big dinner, chicken and dumplings and all the things that they'd have in a country meal. And then maybe that night they'd have a square dance. And then they also had apple peelings and bean strings, where they'd have a lot of fruit, a lot of apples. They'd meet and they'd all peel apples a while, then they'd party.
Of course, they went to playing music, and then they got to where they could play some, and why they got big enough to go to square dances. Why I got playing with them, and we just and then occasionally we'd beat up somebody's house and play. Well, went on like that a while, and then everybody, of course, around this neighborhood was wanting to see them get to doing better than what they was doing. They just wasn't going to ever get anywhere like that, so everybody was interested in them or getting somewhere where they could maybe make a decent living.
Well, there wasn't nothing there to do in it but the whole corn for people and whole corn for yourselves, and just a hard life, you know. And but then they were having fiddle contests and amateur contests down at Stanton, the county seat. It's Stanton, but we always call it Stanton up there. And they were having those down there, and me and my little brother people were coming after us, and we'd walk across the mountain to their cars. They'd get us back and forth to these things.
She just do what she felt like doing all at once. It'd change. Wouldn't be no two the same. can't you? Of course, that's a lot different from what your country music is today. Of course, there's just 2 stations in the eastern part of the United States that carried any country music. That is WLS and WSM out in Nashville.
We auditioned for people at WLS. John Lair was in on it. He had that all-girls band in mind then, and he thought that I'd be right for that.
Sister, the other night did dream she was floating up and down the stream. When she awoke, she began to cry, and the white cat scratched out the black cat's eye. Hey, get along, Jim along, Josie. Hey, get along, Jim along, Joe. Hey, get along, Jim along, Josie. Hey, get along, Jim along, Joe. Hey, get along, Jim along, Josie. Hey, get along, Jim along, Joe. Hey, get along, Jim along, Josie. Hey, get along, Jim along, Joe.
There was in country music, in talking about rural people and relatively isolated people as were in the Appalachians and the Ozarks, or even on the plains of Texas, you know, I think there was that strong sense of tradition and what had been handed to them. There were strong fiddling traditions and banjo traditions and ballad traditions. It was a whole kind of music, I think, that was developing out of the folk music and becoming more professional and bringing in more stuff into the repertoire. But that was a very important group of musicians, during, particularly during the 1930s, I think. John Lair, who was an entrepreneur from the word go, he's an organizer and a schemer, conceived the idea of having contests down here at Renfro Valley and elsewhere where they would give a prize for the best fiddler, banjo picker, or singer or something, and then sign those people up to appear on radio. So before it was over, he had recruited Carl and Hardy, who became very important, Slim Miller, an important fiddler from down there, Red Foley, and of course Lily May was just one of these people he took up to Chicago. And then he created the Renfro Valley Barn Dance.
Fly around my pretty feet, fly around my daisy, fly around my pretty feet, girl, drive me crazy. She went up and used the throat knife down the lane and gave my heart down to my cane. Fly around my pretty feet, fly around my daisy, fly around my pretty feet, girl, drive me crazy. Never marry a girl for too much money. Shoot you on with 2 straight eyes, did you call you honey? Fly around my pretty feet, fly around my daisy, fly around my pretty feet, girl, drive me crazy.
At that point, Lily May was still pretty much sure she was going to play fiddle. And then John Lair said, "You're going to play banjo." Her clawhammer style precedes bluegrass style or 3-finger picking style. Because there is just that ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da rhythm, it was used for dances. Of course, whenever Lily May finished a song, she'd be, you know, "Hey, Jim along, go." The hand would fly up, you know, and you knew she was done with it. She liked those rowdy songs, you know, pass around the long neck bottle and we'll all go out on a spree. You know, today was the last of Wild Bill Jones and tomorrow will be the last of me. That was one of the things that made the Coon Creek Girls so different and made Lily May different than other women musicians at the time, was that they came out on stage and they didn't sing passive, quiet little tunes, and they played their own instruments. They didn't have a man playing fiddle or banjo or guitar for them. They did it all. She just got up there and they were fiery. They were a fiery group.
Some got drunk, some got boozy, I make love to black-eyed Susie. Hey, black-eyed Susie, ho, black-eyed Susie, hey, black-eyed Susie, ho, black-eyed Susie, black-eyed Susie, black.
An old Kentucky woman in New York, Aunt Molly Jackson, loaned me 2 records that she said, Pete, you learn these songs. This is the best music in the world. And on one side was Banjo-Pickin'girl, on the other side, Little Birdie. And I just fell in love with those records. I slowed them down to a growl and tried to figure how the banjo was being played. Now, some of her songs, I couldn't figure how she played them. I found out later on she used a special tuning. Now you can play Little Birdie. Little birdie, what makes you fly so high? It's because I'd be a true little bird and do not fear to die.
I'd rather be here, honey, than any place I know. But to help keep down this old road I go.
Mrs. Roosevelt was wanted to present a concert of all American music. We had been chosen by her to represent the Appalachians. I believe they called it the Ohio Valley at that time, Ohio Valley. They had opera, that was Lawrence Tibbett, classical, Marian Anderson, Kate Smith, popular. They had Alan Lomax, Western folk songs. They had us, Appalachians. There was 100 black men and women that sang old spirituals. They were next to last. Then last was Bascom and Mary Lunsford and his square dancers, and us girls played the music for them.
So free, don't place your affection on a soul is so free. If you do, he'll deceive you like mine has done me.
Direct from Renfro Valley, in the heart of the Kentucky hills, Pillsbury's best flour, the whiter flour for lighter baking, presents the Renfro Valley Folks with John Lair.
And there's peace and content and goodwill in the valley where time stands still.
Howdy, folks. Glad to have you with us a little while today. You know, we're always glad to have company drop in. Just talking to some of the boys and girls a few minutes ago, and we wondered if maybe you wouldn't like to hear a different kind of old country song from what we generally do. Something kind of fast and funny, maybe, like this one by the Coon Creek Girls.
Oh, how many biscuits can you eat this morning? This morning. How many biscuits can you eat this evening? This evening. How many biscuits can you eat? 49 and a ham of meat. This morning, this evening, right now. Oh, I love my wife and I love my baby this morning. This morning. Love my wife and I love my baby this evening. This evening. Love my wife and I love my baby. Oh, I love my biscuits sopped in gravy. Morning, this evening, right now. Oh, make my coffee good and strong this morning. This morning. Make my coffee good and strong this evening. This evening. Make my coffee good and strong. Oh, keep on bringing the biscuits on this morning, this evening, right now. Oh, how many biscuits can you eat this morning? How many biscuits can you eat this evening? How many biscuits can you eat? 49 and a ham of meat this morning, this evening, right now. Wow, 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 wow. I hear the lonely
She liked to sing the sad songs. I Have No Mother Now, Papa Don't Whip Little Benny, Two Little Orphans. At home, those are the songs I remember. When we would have company, the fiddle and banjo would come out. They would sing the happy songs and, you know, do the fiddle tunes and all. But just for singing for her own pleasure with us, it was the sad songs for some reason. This is me and my brother Jimmy, or JP, and my parents. Both of them would go out for 3 or 4 days a week and do road shows through the South. And then come in on the weekends and do the Renfro Valley Barn Dance. She stopped performing when I was 7. That was in around 1955. She did a lot of writing during that time. I remember I would come home and there would be 25 sheets of notebook paper laying on the kitchen table. And she would roll them up and tie them with string and put them in a table that we had that had a door. And I came home one day and she was in the backyard and she'd burned them all. And I said, well, what was that? And she said, just feelings. I think Mike Seeger was one of the first people to introduce her around to some of the people who were doing national folk festivals. Young people started coming to the house who wanted to learn the old style. To think that young people would like that kind of music just really thrilled her.
You ain't got no money, get yourself another money. I'm going around this world, baby, mine. Just this world, baby, mine. I'm going around this world, baby, mine. Going around this world, little banjo-pickin'girl. I'm going around this world, baby, mine.
I got interested in a ballad singer and festival promoter named Bascom Lamar Lunsford down in North Carolina. And one of the things he had done, one of the highlights of his career, was playing for the King and Queen of England at the White House in 1939 at the invitation of President Roosevelt, Ms. Roosevelt. And he mentioned that the Coon Creek Girls were there. So that got me interested in Lily May, and I started asking around about Lily May. Found she was living, I believe, by that time in Lexington, but had lived here in Berea all those years, but I didn't know her. So I invited her to one of our early festivals. When she hit the stage, the crowd really came to its feet almost.
Thank you, friends. I'm going to change the tuning a little bit now. I have to for most of my songs. This is another one about like that one, except different. And okay. Don't you remember that rocky mountainside where we sat down to rest? Promised to be my blue-eyed boy while the sun rolls round and west. Every
I never saw her very much until we were fighting the dam. Oh, she was so strong against the dam. She's done anything to help to save it. We'd usually have a wagon, and if we was having a gathering and on some of the farms, and she'd get up on that and stand and pick that guitar and sing or play the fiddle. She just really worked hard.
Pretty Polly was one that Mama told us we could sing. Now, Wild Bill Jones put her foot down on that, and Little Corey, cause of drinking and moonshining mentioned in some of them. Now, Pretty Polly is one. There's your good love song. I said, Mama, Pretty Polly has got a murder in it. That man killed Pretty Polly. It's better to kill somebody or to drink. And she said, I think it's better to kill somebody. She said he probably wouldn't have killed her if he hadn't been drunk. Here it is, Pretty Polly. I used to be around her, I've been around this town. I used to be around her, I've been around this town. I told you, Pretty Polly, I've been all around. Where is Pretty Polly? Oh, yonder she stands. Where is Pretty Polly? Oh, yonder she stands. Gold diamonds on her fingers and her big white hand. Polly, Pretty Polly, come go along with me. Polly, Pretty Polly, come go along with me. Before we get married, some pleasure to see.
By the time I met her, her health had gotten precarious, so she didn't get to come back here very often. She couldn't drive it herself. We came up here, and I said, I know this is Chimney Top where we are, and now over here, now isn't that Princess Rock? And she says, oh, you mean Old Monkey Face. And every place we went, people would just come out and hug her and laid in the car. Now, well, at one place we got pawpaws. And another place, it ended up that the whole family, slowly but surely, all these people came in. Not that they knew that, it was just a gathering, typical gathering of the day. Well, they said, now you've got to go out here in the garden, and we've got to give you these things. One place we went, old friends, and she had not been there since the husband of the pair had died. And the man was buried right there on the home place, and there was the stone with his name there, and then his wife's name was there too. And then finally we went up to the door, and here she came. And she was so happy to see Lily Mae again after so many years. She's the one who gave us the right pawpaws.
Who rocked that cradle to sing that song? Who rocked that cradle when I'm gone? Well, I ain't got no use for the little red rocking chair. Got no sugar honey, baby, here.
When everything else in her life felt like it was drawing to an end, I felt like it was nice for her to have something that was beginning, which was a friendship. We were really direct about her dying, and she faced death very courageously and always acknowledged my presence. She still, up to the last day, was ready and willing to have a beer with me You know, that was something, I mean, not that drinking was a part of our relationship, but it was still some of her rebelling. You know, her mother must have rolled over in a grave every time Lily Mae had a drink. And we'd pull out, I'd pull out, actually I used her banjo frequently, pull out her banjo and she'd say, well, get me a beer. There were a few songs that I couldn't figure out the tunings for. I said, Lily Mae, can you tell me the names of the strings? And she couldn't remember what they were, but she could remember how to sing them. And with what at that point seemed to me like it was going to be her last breath, she hummed the notes of the strings.
I'll go up in some dark hollow. I'll set up my moonshine stand. I will sell you 1 old gallon for 1 $10 bill. I'd rather be dead in my coffin, my pale face turned toward the